Hello, it's Ernesto. I'm a film composer and I make these videos to document my career as one. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, consider subscribing. Okay, so here's what's going on. My really good friend, Brad, is starting a podcast with 3 of his friends and he wants music for it. And he wants me to write the music. Now, Brad and I had the opportunity to meet up and talk about the music, so I recorded it and put it in this video so that we both know what the project is, what we have to do. And also, I asked Brad if he could give us a tour of his office because I think it's a really cool space and I think other people would be interested in seeing it. So that'll be in the after I show you our meeting. I think it's really cool. Okay, so a little context. Brad is one of my oldest friends. I met him in middle school, known him for over 10 years now. So Brad is a very talented professional puppeteer. He works at a large church here in Texas as a creative director. That's why he has the large office space, and everything that's in there is relevant to what he does to help the church produce content. Okay, so what's the podcast? It's basically well, I'll just let him explain it.
This is a podcast where we, as 4 young puppeteers, will review or talk about the state of puppetry as it stands today. And every episode we'll have a special guest on, most every episode. And the special guest could be someone like you, who not really involved in puppetry, but involved in some ways. If somebody made a puppet short film, you could still score it. Other puppeteers. And what it's going to be is, if you're on the podcast, we're not going to interview you. We're just all together going to talk about the score of Muppet Christmas Carol. And you will provide the expertise for the score of Muppet Christmas Carol, and we will provide opinions from a not expert base, but still from the point of view of people who appreciate the film.
Yeah.
We're not talking to you about your life. We're getting you involved in the conversation. I mean, those questions will come up.
Yeah. But
it's not an interview. And so that's going to be the case when we invite anybody else on. If we have a Sesame Street puppeteer on, we're not going to interview them about them. We're going to talk to them about this specific thing. It's going to consist of me, Sebastiano, my friend Sebastiano Ricci, my friend Mark Terrett, and then my other friend Brandon Smith. And every week we'll have a different guest. We have a lot of really randomly big names that we can get on, so it's going to be really, really cool. But that's what the podcast is, and that's sort of what we're here for.
Right.
And I remember I told you sort of some of my inspirations for it were very simple, but I like the simple sounds that incorporate brass. Like, honestly, Jason Mraz.
Okay.
He has a song called Butterflies. I like that, the instrumental of that.
Yeah.
I love the instruments that are being used. Rhythm-wise, I love the Monsters, Inc. theme. I like that jazzy... I like that. It's sort of like a late night talk show intro in a way.
Right.
And that's, I think, more so than what I had sent you before, as I thought about it more and more.
Okay.
That is like sort of the feel that I want, but I want it to feel a little bit more simple. But the orchestration turns it into something bigger. And that's what I want. I want this to feel bigger than it is, because all it is me and a couple friends on Zoom with a Yeti microphone. Yeah. So if we can produce it to sound more bigger than it is, then yeah, that's really what I'm going for. So like a strong beginning, strong incidentals, right? Whenever we need it. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Or definitely not that, but Woody Woodpecker with the trumpet. But we'll be right back, and then we have something, and then it plays us back in. Yeah. And then having a nice strong ending, and then just calling it a day from there.
So you want an intro, which, however many seconds.
The intro, I don't want words in the intro. Right. Like, I don't want that.
I'm not a very good songwriter.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But I want like a sort of a recognizable, doesn't have to be exactly catchy. Yeah. But a melody, a strong melody that comes in and that sort of takes over where the lyrics would be.
Yes.
And then there's a vamp where this is underscore to what I'm saying, and then it comes back in to conclude it. The intro either drowns out or has a very strong ending where I just come in right after every time. Yeah. Of course, the incidental of
Like transition.
Transitional music, that's what I'm trying to say. Transitional music, anytime if we need to take a break. And then, of course, the intro, but just orchestrated to be, written to be like part of the a conclusive thing. It's a bit shorter. And it's just like, well, that's it. Hope you join us for the next one. And maybe it just like comes in kind of slowly. And then it comes to a big conclusion where it ends. I also want to avoid kids' show.
Right.
Feel it.
You don't want like slide whistles.
Yeah, exactly.
All over the place.
I don't want to see somebody like skipping whatever, but I do want that feeling to be there. I think you know what I'm talking about.
In my head, it feels like, it reminds me of like French jazz. Yeah, like that kind. It has a characteristic strumming sound.
Yes. This gives me Toy Story 2 vibes. I like it.
Yeah. The violin has a lot to do with that, but.
That's right there. Yeah.
That's the sound that I was imagining, and you can imagine it yourself. Instead of that violin, think of a muted brass instrument, and there's some light drums in the back. There's a bass walking. It's a small ensemble, and I'm sure we can find ways to make it bigger. But that's the kind of flavor that I was thinking of.
So what's cool is I like that vibe, and if we could find a way to make that more big bandy, I think that would be it. I don't know when exactly I'm going to actually release the podcast.
If depending on...
I want to record a bunch and then release. I'm hoping this summer would be the release. We're going to definitely film and record and produce everything earlier than that.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping this summer it can be released. Like maybe by June or July. Probably July, so I can take that month of June.
Yeah, that's a good...
Prepare some stuff.
That's a good timeline. Sometimes I'm brought onto a film and like, we need this in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what my schedule's like, I have to fit it in somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good to know.
If this will work, I can get these guys who are very good. These people play here every week. If I'm able to hand them something, I'm sure they would play it for me.
If you can hand them something, I can write it out.
Yeah.
On paper.
And then they have all this recording equipment here. They can just record it.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're hearing.
Saxes, trombones, trumpets.
But if I'm able to tell Justin over here, like during a rehearsal, I have this idea. I'm wondering if they can just get it done for me.
Right. It'll be a few seconds, I'm sure. I mean,
yeah, and
as well as they play, they could sight read it.
Yeah, they play really well. It's really good.
Yeah, they sound great. Is that as big as the band is?
Yeah.
Usually so alto, tenor, and bari sax, bass trombone, a tenor trombone, and 2 trumpets. That's what I.
Correct.
That's what I see on stage there.
I'm sure he's willing. It's just a matter of how much time will they dedicate to it, and is it going to disrupt their rehearsal for something that's super random?
Yeah.
So I'll ask him about it, see if logistically that could even work, if they'd be willing to do it. If they can just come in a little early, like 10-15 minutes early, they play it out because it's not going to be that complicated, but we can make it good. That's the cool thing, is that with the resources that I have here, we can make it sound really nice.
Thank you, Brent, for taking the time
to
explain it to me, and I feel like we can really cook something up. That's pretty good. I'm excited.
Oh, hey, come on in. The water's fine. How's it going? I'm Arlo, he's Brad, and we're gonna give you a tour of the office. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. This is Dr. Bunsen Honeydew. That's Gonzo. This is very relevant to what I do. This is an American Idol live tour poster signed by a bunch of people, including Jordan Sparks. It's an actual signature from Jordan Sparks right there in my office for no good reason.
Very cool.
Over here, we've got the puppet workshop, which is where I will stay, and then I'll take over.
Right here we've got the puppet workshop where I build. I'm currently rebuilding this character, and this is sort of the foam structure for as we get started. And it all happens over here. We got the measuring board. I just got the materials in today, but other materials I use include a lot of markers, a lot of drinking, a lot of random foam pieces, grip pieces, eye molds, bowls. Having a trash can next to you is very important. Swatches to see which furs work best. Do I like the flowiness of this one? Do I like the flowiness of that one?
Interesting.
Etc. Up here, of course, glue. Contact cement is like integral for puppet making. Everything comes together with contact cement. And once it forms, when contact cement forms, it's like it forms this unbreakable bond that is like, I have this is EVA foam here, and it's very hard foam, as you can see. Even when you kind of link the pieces together, it really, really wants to come apart. It doesn't take much to make that happen. But once you put contact cement in it, this has been this way for about a year, and it's not coming apart anytime soon. These pieces are all kind of strained to be in this position. These, weirdly enough, I actually use these for another character that I'll bring you to see over here. This is a character where I wear stilts, and this is his body, where I climb inside the suit, and he works just like Big Bird, where I have one hand coming up, working the head. The head fits onto this pole. My head is actually in here, my hand is up above, and I'm working with his other hand with a glove, where his fingers are actually those coin rolls that I showed you, spray painted to look a bit like trees and made it look a bit mossy. And then this is his head. He's a 12-foot tall tree troll, and he's really fun. Speaking on the character that I was rebuilding over there, these are all the materials that just came in for him. So this is what his fur is going to look like. It's very nice and flowy. Got a lot of good perpetual motion. Sometimes we have to shoot things here. So this is the studio sort of section. Green screen for simple puppet stuff. I can just put it right in front, cut out the sides, and put them in front of whatever I need to put them on if we need to shoot quick stuff or whatever the case is. Two of my characters that were just used that I was too lazy to put away. And then these are sort of the rest of my characters here, and they go on these stands, just like that, and then they sit there and wait to be used next. All of these are performed by me with the exception of this one, just because I'm the only puppeteer here. But yeah, this is how they are, this is how they do, and this is sort of puppet storage for the main characters, because this is one of the only areas in my office that doesn't leak when it rains. Spare no expense here. This is my bookshelf, where I keep my books and photos and toys, my Muppet paraphernalia. I've got a music box, and this music box plays Memories from Cats. I got it at an estate sale, and it's one of my favorite things. Anyway, I love classic toys. That's really cool. Jesus bobblehead, praise be to him. The dragon for change that I always forget to put my change in. Bunch of stuff up here. Really cool, original old Barney toy. One of the original, I think one of the first ever produced. Wembley from Fraggle Rock back here. Grover, Woody, Woodstock, Gonzo, Mr. Munch, Kermit, Ernie, Goofy, Lucas the Spider, Big Bird, Constantine. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? It's not Leo.
Donatello?
It's Donatello. And then down here I've got some books. Things that inspire me, things that I use for inspiration. Bunch of old Time magazine from 1974. The stickers are awesome. And this rubber ducky right here, you've heard the song Rubber Ducky.
Oh, Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
This is from the original mold of the rubber ducky. That is, this rubber ducky is older than the building we're standing in. This was made in like the 50s. And I'm going to ask when I get there, but I'm pretty confident that they actually just used the sound from this rubber ducky.
Wow.
Is Ernie's rubber ducky. So that's exactly Ernie's rubber ducky. And then down here, we have got a whole bunch of, it's double layered right here, whole bunch of VHS tapes. All of these original, some of these are like the black diamond ones that will go for up to $5,000 on eBay, but they only ever sell for 50. We got those, it's awesome. This is one character named Lenny.
I'm described as a crackhead. I don't know why, I don't have a single crack in anywhere in my head. Don't drink carrot juice, kids. It's bad for your mom.
And then he's very irreverent. This is my television wherein I watch the VHS tapes. That is my Olaf. My actual desk, which is kind of a mess right now, but whose desk isn't? This one right here is my DVD player of record player, my Sesame Street record player. Wonderful, fun stuff. It plays records. I'm not sure what else to tell you there. But it's really cool. That is a Steve Whitmire drawing that I made for Steve Whitmire. And he was the performer of Kermit for about 26 years. Actually, in fact, I should show you that I have Steve Whitmire's autograph right here. He was the performer of Kermit. I made that for him. And he made it his Instagram profile picture. And it is still, if you look him up right now, you'll see that that is his profile picture. Autograph from Jim Henson. Not real, but still awesome. Real autograph from Frank Oz right there. Some Pigs in Space art that my friend made. Mickey. Grogu. Avenue Q that I was in, and that was a very good time for me. And then of course, up here I've got some Pop Funko stuff, which I didn't like at first, but now I kind of like them. Jim Henson with Ernie. Uncle Traveling Matt, Pickle Rick, Mana Mana, not Pop Funko, these two, the Doozers. Harry Monster, Ernie, Woody, Moki, Matt Vogel, Jim Henson, Boober, Jeff Dunham, Georgie, Pennywise, me as Aladdin, drawn by one of the original artists of Aladdin. Me as a Simpsons character, drawn by one of the original artists on The Simpsons. And then of course some Aladdin stuff up there, and then Pizza Planet. And if you look very closely under the Pizza Planet truck, you'll see Buzz and Woody hiding out under there, waiting to go see Andy. Yeah, and then of course this book is very special to me. I've only got 2 autographs, but they mean a lot. One, of course, is from Steve Whitmire, as I showed you. I got to meet him, talk to him for a while, and he's a really, really sweet guy. I like him a lot. And this one is from Carol Spinney, and when I talked to him, he gave me a bird feather, and he signed the book for me. And that was one of his last public appearances, actually, before he passed away. Yeah, that's my, is there anything else you want to see? That's pretty much it.
How about this TV?
Oh yeah, so TV is actually part of my computer. I use it as a secondary monitor for when I'm editing. So as I pull up some stuff here, if I open up Final Cut Pro, that turns into my monitor for editing. So this is my sort of my timeline. Let's say I open this one right here, and we go in, and I'm watching. I load up this timeline. As I scroll through here, you will see that is, I on purpose made it look bad, don't worry. A whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, so as I edit, that is my main sort of viewer there. It's really neat. It's really fun. Really like it. Yeah, and that's it. That's my office as the sort of the creative producer for here where I work. All right, that's it. So how do I conclude it?
You don't.
There we go. That's perfect.
Great. Thank you, Brad.
Of course.
I think this space is really cool.
I think so. It's kind of it's like a disorganized chaos, or rather organized chaos, I should say.
It's like a mad scientist lab.
Yeah, it's certainly
with Muppet parts rather than monster parts.
Yeah. Well, there are monsters, these Muppets, but yeah, it's like because it actually did used to be an art classroom for an elementary school, and it has really kept.
You can kind of tell by the tiling.
Yeah, the aesthetic is really stayed.
Yeah, it really stimulates the creativity there.
Yeah, I've had people walk in here and they're like, "Oh, I thought it was a daycare." And I'm like, "No, this is my working office."
So that was the meeting and the office tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I think his office space is just super cool and fascinating, and I think other people should just check it out. It's super cool and awesome. Okay, so now we know what we have to do. We have to come up with some music that's big band, that resembles that of like a late night talk show. Something big to make the production value seem just higher than it might be otherwise. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, but I'm going to be documenting all of it. So make sure to subscribe for all that. So until next time, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Ernesto Composer, and you can visit my website at ernestocomposer.com. Thanks so very much for watching, and as always, take care.